Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I am reviewing the Game Changer Evolution by AllCornhole. I have a set of regular Game Changers that I was going to review. I heard rumors that this bag was coming out, so I held off because I didn't want to review this bag and turn right around and a month or two later and review the Evolution because I wasn't sure if this bag was going to replace this one. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead, the review, all my throw-ins with the Evolution bags. I'm going to kind of talk about both bags. I'll compare the differences, what they've changed, and kind of give my ideas of what I like, what I don't like about the bags. Let's go ahead and dive into this Evolution here. We'll start with the materials. It's the same materials you find on the Game Changer. The materials haven't changed. In fact, the beauty of the Game Changer is both the fast side and slow side use the exact same material. It's that Game Changer material, hence the name, the Game Changer, right? Same material you find on the fast side of the Surefire. It's the fast side of the Ultra Psycho. It's a lot of companies use this material. You know, it's a wonderful fast side material. It's fast, but somewhat controllable. Slides at the boarding conditions, push through anything. So you get that on both sides. The fast side, I give it about an 8, 8.5. It's a fast 8. It's maybe an 8.5 on that fast side speed rating. The slow side, this is where things get different. So you have the same material, but they put a suede patch on here. If you're not familiar with the Game Changer, it has this big square patch on there, and the idea is this is what slows it down. So you have the concept of the Game Changer is before the Game Changer, AllCornhole, the pros were throwing slide rights, right? And the slide rights has this suede material all over the slow side, and they just stick up, they hang on the hole. So the concept here was, let's create a bag that still has that control, but doesn't hang up. It's a little more hole friendly, and that's where the Game Changer came through. And honestly, they did a really good job because you don't need the full suede all the way around. You just need this middle part to control. And by taking it away here, the bag still is pretty hole friendly. In fact, the Game Changer is one of the most hole friendly bags out there. It really is wonderful around the hole. And what they've done with this bag is they've taken that square patch and made it round, which I like it. In fact, they fixed the stitching. Like, the stitching is much smoother. There's a much smoother transition across here. It isn't as obnoxious as it was. The issue I still have with the Game Changer is when I go slick side, butterfly grip, I press down right in the middle of that patch, and just that feel, it's a different texture, really different texture. And I feel sometimes in my release, my thumb wants to hang up, so I really had to be a little more intentional about releasing my thumb when I throw a Game Changer. Not a big deal. As long as I remember it, I can get through with it. I think the benefits of the bag outweigh that little bit of difference, but it is a textural difference. Some people really hate the feel of it. I do think the small patch, the round patch, has fixed some of the problems. The other thing they did with the patch on the new Evolution is they have 5 different sizes. So in the old Game Changer, you had one size. This was it. And this patch is like 3.5 inches roughly square. So I kind of equated this to like a 3.5, 4-inch patch. I don't know how the speeds of this round patch compare to this one, so I was wanting to try to get a different size patch to see if I could figure out the speed ratios. But in all honesty, I really need to get more of these round ones. I just wasn't going to spend $550 buying 5 different sets of these Game Changer Evolutions to figure out all the different speed. I just wasn't going to do that. So I picked the 3-inch because I felt like this was more like a 3.5, 4-inch patch. So I went to 3-inch to try to see if I can get an idea of the speed range. To me, this 3-inch patch plays about a 7 speed. This square patch more like a 6 speed. So if I equate this to, say, a 3.5, equate this to 3, maybe every half-inch patch is 1 speed number roughly. And like I said, there are 5 different patches: a 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and a 4.5. So if you go that way, you're looking at a 8 for the 2.5, 7 for the 3, 6 for 3.5, 5 for the 4, and a 4 for the 4.5. If that correlates, I don't know. I'm purely guessing here. I'll have to get my hands, hopefully at some point, on a different size patch to see if I can get an idea of the speed of that and maybe figure out the correlation speeds. AllCornhole uses the ACL speed ratings, which are really weird. I don't really know how they test them, how they get those. So I'm not sure how to correlate those numbers to real life speeds. But in my mind, your regular Game Changer is like a 6, 8.5. This 3.0, you're looking at a 7, 8.5 on that. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where the speeds are. The other change in this is the template size, right? The regular Game Changer is a large bag. It's one of the bigger bags out there. It's really big, and it's got these big square corners, makes the bag feel even more bigger, even more massive out there. This is more of a normal, more of a medium-sized template. If you're familiar with the All Slides 2.0, that's more like the template you got here, kind of that medium template. So they've shrunk the template down. They've kind of rounded the corners off a little bit. They're not quite as square and pointy as they are in the Game Changer, so they rounded them off. So this is more like a normal bag as far as the template and the corners and all. It's still a pretty floppy bag. You still got a lot of flop in this bag here. It's not as floppy as a regular Game Changer just because it's so much bigger, but there's still a ton of flop here on this bag, so it's still a floppy bag. You still got that same bead fill. You know, you get the regular Game Changer, this thing just really folds over, almost folds in half. You could really get a ton of flop here. So they shrunk the template down, made it more of a normal template for you. They've changed the patch, they smoothed the stitching out. It's a round patch now. Those are kind of all the main changes. Now, the playability of this bag, To me, the regular game changer, the beauty of this bag is that it just wants to go in the hole. It's a very forgiving bag. These big square corners, this floppy bag. It has a huge landing zone. Like, it's one of the largest landing zones any bag ever thrown. Like, you just get this, if you can just get this corner to grab the hole when it goes by, it's going to spin around and come right back in. These game changers are known for being crazy hole friendly. This bag is still pretty hole friendly, but because you don't have that as big a template and the corners aren't as pointy, I would say the landing zone is a little smaller. It's not as forgiving. It's still a very forgiving bag. It still drips in the hole. If you could just get to catch the hole, it's going to go in there. I do think this round patch doesn't hang up as much as that square patch, right? But it's hard to compare because, again, this is a smaller patch than this one. If I had a 3.5 or 4 inch patch, maybe it would be more comparable to this, so we could see a little bit different there. I don't know. I don't want to say the round is more hole friendly, but this is still a pretty hole friendly bag. It's just, again, it's just not as forgiving. The landing zone is not as big as you get on the regular game changer. That's kind of the trade off you get though when you shrink the template size down and run the corners off. You lose some of that forgiveness around the hole and some of that landing zone that you would get from that bigger template. The bead fill makes the bag very hole friendly. It wants to drip in. It does have some balance. It does have some movement on there, which I think makes these bags, you can still cut these games. Even though they're fast materials, you can still cut them. I think you're able to throw cuts with them. I've seen people flop them. I've seen some people roll them, but if you're not a roll bag thrower, if you're average or below average, you're not rolling this bag. Maybe you can flop it, but that's not really what this bag is designed for. This bag is designed for going to the hole and getting around bags. So the beauty of the game changer is that because it's so floppy, it's so loose, it's so big that you can just sneak by bags. So there are blockers on the board. You can just sneak by them, grab the hole, and go in. It's not really designed to push through because this bag is so loose, it accordions up, right? And I've talked about before that when you go to push through a bag, it's going to accordion up and just spin around as opposed to push through. So if you want to collect a bag with the regular game changer, you've really got to come more in the middle to clip it and really push the bag. If you try to go corner to corner, you're just going to get around. But the beauty of that is if your opponent has a blocker up there, you can just sneak around all day long with the game changer. If they have 2 blockers, this bag just wants to smush up. You can sneak through tight holes. You can put this bag in places that you wouldn't think you would. And all you got to do is just grab a corner of the hole and it's going in. This bag still has some of that. Like, this bag is still really good at getting around. It's better at getting around than it is going through bags, kind of like the regular game changer. So, and I think some of that is just the flop in the bag still. It's still a pretty floppy bag. It's going to get through. So this is not a bag that you're really looking at playing a dirty style game with. But it's a bag that if you're playing an opponent who throws a sticky bag, who throws a cover bag, this is the type of bag I want to throw because I can just get around their bag. I can sneak around. I can slide into their bags and spin around their bag, leave their blockers, make them collect them, and I don't have to do the work for them. And so that's where I think this game just shines. And it's just a bag that just wants to go in the hole. Like it just finds its way in the hole. And I like the idea of the evolution. Like, I really like this bag for going hole for hole. I just think the large template square corners really make this bag super forgiving. I don't know if it's better than the evolution. Like, if I was going to throw a game changer, I think I would just rather throw the original, just because I think the bigger bag, the bigger lanes and the more forgiveness around the hole is a bigger gain than what you're getting with this bag. But I love the concept of the patches and the different sizes, because the one thing for me, as board conditions change, I don't want to change my throw, so I try to change bags. So I try to bring different bags to match the different type of conditions that I'm going to face. And that way, as boards get faster, I can just go to a slower bag. If boards get slower, I can go to a faster bag, but I don't have to change my throw. And that's the concept with the evolution here is you have 5 different speeds, so you can pull a bag out that's basically the same bag. It's just a little bit different, bigger patch. So it's basically the exact same bag, and you don't have to change anything other than change the bag. The problem comes in is you've got to have 5 bags. Maybe you don't. Maybe you get a 2 and a 3.5 and a 4.5. Or maybe you get a 3 and a 4 and a 4 or something. You can get 2 or 3 bags and try to play it that way. You might be able to do that. Again, I don't know what the speed differences are. I got to figure that out before I can really tell. But I mean, I like the concept that you can change speeds of the bag without really changing bags. With a normal bag, if you want to change speeds, you got to change materials, and so the bag then feels different. By changing these bags, the bags still feel the same, and everything's the same. You're just changing this patch, and that concept is awesome. I don't know if you can apply that any other way other than this type of technique with the patch on there. I think it's a great concept. I like the idea. I like where they're going. To me, I wish AllCornhole would take this round patch and put it on this bag. Keep the template, keep the large template, keep square corners, get rid of the square, put the round here, and just make this, combine these 2 bags. I think then they have something that is really awesome. Again, I like the bag. I mean, I know some people hate the Game Changer. I think the Game Changer is a wonderful bag. And if I go to a blind draws and someone wants to, my opponents will throw it, I'll throw it with them. In fact, if you ever walk into a tournament and an old guy pulls up the old beat-ups of the Game Changers, you're in trouble because that guy is going to slide and airmail. That's all you got to do, slide and airmail, and he's going to hit them all day long, and there's nothing you can do to stop him. Like that's just what they're designed for. And I always hate when I see that old guy walk up with a beat-up set of Game Changers. I know I'm in for a tough match then. But anyway, I enjoy this bag. I think it's a wonderful bag. For putting bags in the hole, that's what it's designed to do. Now, availability, AllCornhole has a website, allcornhole.com. The bags are in stock right now. They had them all. AllCornhole does a great job keeping bags in stock. I will say the price on these are a little more expensive. You have 4 bags for $109 for the set. It's free shipping, so it includes shipping on there, so it makes it a little cheaper, but still it's a pricier, it's a harder sell, right? The regular Game Changer right now, these are going for I think like $80 for a set of 4. So you're paying $29 more for these. I don't know if it's worth that change. Now, I will say when I bought these, I did a little search on the internet and found a 15% off discount code. You probably can do that. I made them like $93 or so, something like that. I paid for them. So a little easier to absorb, but still, I think I'd rather pay $80 for these than the $93 or $109 for these. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But again, I didn't dislike these bags. I think they're good bags. If you've thrown the Evolution, I'd love to hear your feedback on them. I'd love to hear your idea if you've got different size patches where you think the speeds fall. I'd love to figure out how the different size patches compare to the different speeds. I'd love to figure that out somehow or another without having me buy 4 more sets of bags. Anyway, check them out. Love to hear feedback on the Evolution. I thank you guys so much for support, and I thank you for watching.